Hey, everybody. So I wasn't sure who was going to jump on live there for a second. So, yeah. Hey, everybody. Uh, Welcome to Not Technically Perfect. I'm your host, Richard Struther. As you guys, if you guys have been following the series, you know I'm a technology coach. So I deal with lifestyle, technology, and mindset. But something I wanted to run into today, and because I was having a great conversation with a friend yesterday, and we were talking about audio and the sound. And he was asking me, well, wait a minute, are wired headphones better or wireless headphones better? What's the advantage? What's the disadvantage? There's all this huffle, there's this hullabaloo around surround sound, and now it's like, oh wait, no, now everybody's got sound bars. What's the difference, right? And I think it's a fantastic question. I really do. I love this question. So let's get into a little bit of sound and really let me get down to the really the basic of it. I mean, really, like right to the crux of it. So you guys all know, don't stick anything in your ear a little smaller than your pinky because you might perforate your eardrum. Well, okay. Sound is all about air movement. That's it. I mean, really, it's about the movement of air at the right frequency. So you have an eardrum in there. It's a membrane, and it's hooked up to this great mechanism. And when air moves your eardrum, then you hear sound because it moves at a certain rate. It moves at a certain frequency. It's the waves of sound that push the air into the ear canal, channel that down, and start moving it. Whether it's a big speaker, a little speaker, a headphone, and whether it goes in the ear, on top of the ear, it doesn't matter. Sound is about moving air. That's how we hear. Now, I'm going to get into something really cool after this, but bear with me. So, we, however, have become our brains are fantastically complex units, and we can figure out the direction of sound. Kind of helps when we were back in hunter-gatherers and we were out hunting and we could hear something coming from behind us. We didn't just hear a crack of a twig and then go, ooh, twig, and didn't know where it was. We could hear where the twig was cracking. So we've gotten very good at spatial sound, this idea we hear what's around us. And that's awesome. So here's the catch to that. We have been trying to get immersive with sound for a long time, and it's really tricky to get something that really gives us good direction. Now, surround sound was one way to do it, and that is you have 5 speakers. You have your left and your right in the front, you got your left and the right in the back, and you've got a center channel. And the reason that they do that is because, first of all, you can play sound to a certain area, right, and have it come from a direction, but also too, you could make voices clearer by having a speaker that is dedicated to that range of sound. Okay, so that's where surround sound really became a thing. The problem with surround sound is that you have to wire it up properly. Otherwise, you're going to have speakers on batteries, and you're going to have to walk into the room and start switching everything on, and deal with a few devices. Let's not do that. That doesn't appeal to a lot of people. So, sound bars have become very popular, especially because most of them nowadays are they hook up to the TV, and then they are also Bluetooth. Or a variation on this is the Sonos speakers, which are very popular because they are wireless and they have their own app and music, and this can transmit through multiple rooms. But ultimately, all of these things are units that move air. And a speaker does that usually through magnets, as do headphones. So you've got, when you look at an old speaker, if you guys look at a speaker from the 70s, it was this paper cone with a really soft area, and then the middle was hard, and that was the magnet. And as electricity went through, it would cause the magnet to pump in and out and move air. It basically just pushed air in and out, very much like this motion. So it would move air in this motion. Not much has changed, except for the fact that we no longer use paper. We use membranes. We use neodymium. Neodymium is really cool because it's a type of magnet and there is no friction, so the speaker can't wear down. There's no friction. There's nothing to cause the sound to muffle or distort, because if the speaker is pushing sound like this and you have anything that impedes it, it's not going to push the air the right way, and you're not going to get the sound the right way. The bigger a speaker, the more air it pushes, the louder, well, not just the louder the sound. The louder the sound is, the more it does this. Anyway, all this to say, it's moving air, right? But then we get to this trick. Speakers are no longer just electrical impulses hooked up to some kind of box, an amplifier, that pushes higher concentrations of electricity at the speaker to make it move more. Speakers now need to be flat, compact, smaller, tighter. Everything needs to be small and tight. So this is where it gets interesting. And eventually, we started getting down to this. These things go in the ear, but they use the same principle. They move air. That's all they do. Now, here's the catch. Digital music. Well, is there a difference? Yes. Do cabled speakers give better sound? All right. In order to move the speaker, you need an electrical impulse. If you use really crappy wiring, the electrical impulse loses from its source to the speaker. So the speaker doesn't get as much electricity and it doesn't move as much. So you get less sound. If the speaker is too small or very, very poor quality, you tend to get a bit of a tinny sound. You don't get a lot of, you lose a lot of this deep bass sound. This is something we get when we deal with much finer speakers. If a speaker is too deep, because there's not enough of the finer frequencies getting pushed out. This is why the popularity of multiple speakers or drivers to push air at different rates to push different sound frequencies. So that's why you might have a speaker with multiple speakers. It's a cabinet with multiple speakers. Or you might have a smaller speaker that does this amazing range of sound, and there's multiple different ways of doing it, but again, it's all just moving a membrane to move air. Really, that's what it boils down to. Now, wired is 99% of the time better because it can carry the electrical impulse with no interference, or minimal interference. As long as the cable is decent quality, it will get the electrical signal to move the speaker. If you're talking Bluetooth, on the other hand, Bluetooth has to convert to digital. Digital gets transmitted over the air, received on the other end, and reinterpreted back. But to do this, we have to cut the sound up. So if I give you an apple and I cut it, I slice it up really nice, but I slice it up, I have to deal with these slices. So the problem is when you reconstruct this thing, it doesn't have that smooth edge. There's a little bit of loss. If you're in the street and you're competing with the sounds of the street, you're not going to notice. You're not going to care. It's so subtle. And a lot of people's ears aren't attuned to hearing it well. But different types of speakers give different types of sound. Some tend to be a little bit more, a lot more lower and a lot more, a lot less treble. Treble is what we call. Treble is what we call this high part, or this sibilance, the high-end sibilance. This is the higher frequencies. The lower frequencies tend to be boom, boom, boom. And these they are much harder to detect direction. And we actually have special speakers called subwoofers that do just that. And that's what makes the floor go thump. That's what makes the theater kick your seat. But anyway, all of that to say, is wired better? Sure. Is Bluetooth more convenient? Yeah, it's really convenient. I mean, instead of carrying around, I can carry around these instead of carrying around something much, much larger. So it's a trade-up. Convenience or purist? Which do you want to go? Guys, if you want to know more, if you thought this was cool, hit me up in the comments. Here's the email. You can email me your questions. We just, like, I love talking about this stuff. I want to do a better version of this episode, where I can actually demonstrate this and actually kind of play some stuff and whatnot. But if you have any more questions, if you want to see more of this, hit me up in the comments. I'm easy to reach. And I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow at 6:45 for Not Technically Perfect. Thanks for tuning in.